The story begins as one of the most prestigious schools in Japan, Hyaku Private Academy, reveals how the school is ruled by the student council, who governs the school, where status and hierarchy is determined by gambling. The school is far from normal, as they enjoy fame, wealth, and of course, the pets who end up being in debt from the gamblings. A new student, Yumiko Jabami, transfers into their school and is acquainted with the class prefect, Suzui, almost immediately. Not long after she settles in the school, she engages in gambling. Mary, who loses to Yumiko, utterly becomes a pet. Another challenge to gambling with Yumiko is being raised by the daughter of the head of Japan's top-rated toy company. It is common knowledge that she has never failed in any of her games and collects toenails and fingernails in exchange for those who lose to her. However, when she plays with Yumiko, her subtle cheating comes to light as Yumiko exposes her antics and eventually wins. Not long after, the Traditional Culture Research Society's clubroom invites Yumiko to gamble. Her opponent is the member of a powerful student council. Being challenged to the game of life or death, Yumiko picks on the cheating style of her opponent as their first round ends in a draw. When the opponent realizes 2 billion yen is at stake, the president of the student council steps in and saves her member from the foreseen debt of Yumiko already winning. Now that Yumiko has lost, she and Mary are handed the life schedules from the student council body in case they cannot pay their full debt. When the body realizes the high school rate of the students in debt, they organize a debt exchange game where the pets would gamble with themselves and redeem their huge debt if they win. Yumiko and Mary end up in a group with 2 others. The gambling takes turns into a series of bluffs as the duo has planned from the onset to deceive their opponents. The guy amongst them is desperate to make it to the top, so he would not collect any debt at all. However, he falls into their trap and ends up with Yumiko's debt. Mary's own debt is cleared, while Yumiko takes up Mary's debt of 50 million. Although Yumiko has acquired enough money, she is still unwilling to pay her debt. The other students then realize she wants to actually challenge the students' council president. A deranged member of the council contends with Yumiko for gambling. However, the rules which is laid down by the initiator of the game involves loading a gun and firing shots, which is a probability of an empty gun or not. They agree that the game should be 3 rounds and the loser will pay 1 billion yen. Yumiko's opponents explain why she loves gambling, and that is the pain and near-death risk that comes with it. With Suzui dealing with the cards and being the sole determiner of Yumiko's win, he is put under a short time pressure during the final round. Yumiko picks up on her opponent's cheating methods when she notices that the screen was reversed. At long last, the gambling ends in a draw. This causes Yumiko to be nonchalant as she expresses that she was bored since the game has no meaningful risk. As Yumiko rises in her game of defeating more students in her gambling ploy, it unsettles the student council, which causes the president to make a trip out of the academy. A popular Japanese idol and YouTube star makes a bet with Yumiko, the amount at stake being at 50 million. The gamble is to be some sort of stage performance of competition between Yumiko and the idol. However, Yumiko sees through her facade as she makes her confess how much she hates her fans, as she calls them disgusting pigs also. The test of idols ensues between Yumiko and the star. They use dancing and singing to ascertain their talent, and during the gambling itself, Yumiko wins most of the round. The opponent pretends to be unhappy about her loss, but in reality, she has planned how to make her big win. The last strike of the game, however, foils her plans and gives undeniable victory to Yumiko. After she wins the game, Yumiko goes ahead to play the secret recording that is meant to sabotage the star's career. However, when the fans turn out to disregard the tape and embrace the idol star wholeheartedly, Yumiko advances to fish out the person who sent her evidence against the idol's career. She points the allegations to a male member of the student council. The vice president oversees the gamble between Yumiko and the student council member. The game, however, results in both parties betting their whole life as the gamble gets more intense. After Yumiko calls her friend to bet her life, and as such, 12 and 10 billion is at stake from the irrespective players. The vice president removes her mask and reveals it was the president standing there all along as she sneaks back into the academy with the vice president's disguise. The gambling ends with Yumiko and her friend having the upper hand. The council member loses his seat and runs up in debt of billions onto the hands of Yumiko. The president, being quite impressed by Yumiko's gambling fits, finally accepts the challenge of gambling with her, one-on-one. The match between the duo is a very intense one, as the person who loses will be expelled from the academy. The game ends with a great relief to everyone when they both end up in a draw. They part ways after agreeing they must gamble sometime later again, and coming to a decision, the president concludes she wants to dissolve the student council. A petite girl from the Momobami clan challenges Yumiko and the deranged girl to a finger-cutting gamble. She has already rigged the machine from the onset, but the more they played the game, the more she became afraid of her opponent's craziness and display of excitement about getting their fingers cut off. As the thrill of the risk continues, the opponent becomes more and more anxious as she bursts into a fit of crying. A 30 days gambling over the seat of presidency is declared in the academy. The friends of Yumiko connects the dots after realizing she is a distant relative of the Momobami clan. Each student is handed a single chip in the school so as to commence the gamble and start the process of the election among themselves. This then takes us back to the gambling between Yumiko and the deranged council girl and the girl from the Momobami clan. Towards the end of the game, the girl removes her hand out of fear while the council girl cuts 2 strings at the same time. This automatically makes Yumiko the winner. Mutsubami, who is in charge of the Momobami family, introduces 2 members of the clan to Yumiko for the election battle. Meanwhile, the vice president contends with Mary in exchange to win 100 coins. After Mary wins, the former is now a subject to Mary. Suzui calls Mary after informing her that Yumiko has been poisoned by her opponents. The second round of the game starts as Mary has now taken over Yumiko in order for the antidote of the poison to be released. For Yumiko, Mary and Suzui have to win against their opponents. Mary wins by the second round and makes the other opponent to prick her hand with the poison as agreed. After beating them finally, Mary is able to get a hold of the antidote and gets Matsubami to dispense it to Yumiko. It has already been 7 days since the election gambling started. Yumiko has amassed the 10th place, while the president still retains number 1. A big movie star who is a part of the Momobami clan and has been in disguise ever since she came to the academy finally reveals herself and challenges Yumiko to a performance contest. The idol star begs to join in to prove herself since she is her role model, and so the 3 are to partake in the contest. At the beginning of the contest, the actress takes the lead as her talent surpasses both girls. The idol star accepts defeat and acknowledges the actress is indeed good. Yumiko does not support her, giving up on time and puts words of encouragement into her mind. Although Yumiko talks her out of losing just easily, she plays their last game with reluctance. However, the last game causes her and Yumiko to win against the actress. The current head of the Momobami family contends with Yumiko for a gamble. The game involves each of the contestants to deposit their coins at the personal box, which would be a bank for their gain, or the tax deposit box that would allow all the players to gain. As the 5 contestants play the game, they realize that there is a traitor among them. By the second round, Yumiko suggests a plan to catch the traitor, but it only worsens as the tax deposit box has fewer coins. One of the players points out that Yumiko is the traitor. When that fact is debunked, further and careful observation leads to Yumiko's friend and another player as the traitors. Now they have knowledge on who their traitors are, they eliminate the last person and keep on with the gamble. With the 5th round coming to an end, the winner is declared, but after making a bet before the game started, she loses the 45 coins she earned. She also declares she no longer wants to run for the student council president. The update on the top 10 students who made it to the top of the election is currently airing, and during the course of it, Yumiko challenges the current president to a gamble. However, the president's secretary objects to it and requests for a gamble with her first. The president herself proposes a game she has once constructed for a moment like this, and after laying down the conditions of the fate of who loses, they both agree to the gamble. The gamble is in a tower built by the president. It is meant to open its door with logical reasoning. But Yumiko is always one to do otherwise of logic, and so her opponent reasons she would get to the top before her since she was late. She, however, becomes shocked after realizing Yumiko gets to the top with a lily prize before her. Resigning to her fate of death, she jumps down from the tower but eventually has a good landing. She and the president make a new resolve, and she's happy to be back with the ladder. Yumiko, her friends, and a few other students receive an invitation to 100 votes. The auctioneer is the person in charge of the Momobami family. As the bidding progresses, they actually realize the game is full of risks, because the more they bid, the more they lose to the anonymous sponsor. Yumiko looks around and notices that the auctioneer is also the so-called sponsor. With her exposing him, the auctioneer reveals his true self and removes all his disguise. He also explains why he swore to get revenge back, and his only way to achieve that is by winning. Yumiko bids 101 votes, wins the bid, and starts bidding 1 vote till the other players pick on her strategy. Now that all players are bidding 1 vote, this causes the auctioneer to lose his 3 billion yen to the Jabamis. To watch more exciting anime recaps like this, click on the screen. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. As always, like and comment to help out our channel. Thanks for watching.